Here we are. Here we are. Welcome to the live stream. If you're new here, hit subscribe and then hit the notification bell. I go live weekdays. I bring you what's latest in the news and sometimes obscure stuff. I don't know if you've seen the new technology, the new tech that they're what the heck is going on? The new technology that they're advancing in Southern California. I like to call it the Big Hero 6 tech. You might know it as the Baymax tech. Ultimately, the nanobots from Disney and Pixar's movie Big Hero 6. But that's going on. They're developing that. These mini nano robots or nano pieces, nano particles, not particles, that's too small. All right, and I put the link down below because the image, it's too sciencey for me, man. But if you're into that, I think this is cool, and I think it is freakish at what they're going to be able to develop. And I would highly check it out if you're into that kind of stuff. But we're not going to talk much about that. I wanted to bring it to your attention because we got to focus on what did Elon do last week? What are 5 things Elon got done last week? He sent out an email the week before to all 2 million members of the government, all 2 million members of the government's workforce. He sent out an email which he said simple, just list off 5 things you did last week, not considering the nuance between departments of the government. Some might be more confidential than others. I don't know. Why are they mad at Edward Snowden again? Anyways, and in bad boss behavior, Elon sent that email out. Who is going to read 2 million emails? I have like 1,000 emails in my inbox and I can't get through them all. 2 million? Is he going to hire a department in the government? I know he said he's going to run it through AI. So calm down, bootlickers. Which is even worse. Could you imagine if your boss said, send me an email of 5 things you did last week? I'm going to run it through AI to see if you keep your job. I'm sure you'd still be defending it if it was your boss. Hilarious. Uh, but it turns out this week it's looking like Elon's companies, because not only is he firing everyone in the government, but he is also running companies. I don't know. If you're on Twitter and you go and look and see how much he tweets, you're going to go, there's no way he could be running a company and tweeting this much. You couldn't, I mean, everyone likes to poo-poo on burger flippers, but let me say this, you could work at fast food. You couldn't do the most basic, and again, not my language. This is what society is propagandized to believe that, certain jobs aren't as important. Let's just take, I don't know, whatever you do at work. A Disney artist couldn't tweet as much as Elon Musk does, and they're not even the boss. So somehow people have been duped into believing like he's an important figurehead. And he shows off the quality of his work, mass email 2 million people, tell me 5 things you did last week without considering the nuance from department to department. But this week, the beautiful, ironic news, it's got to be irony. It's got to be. I know there are the grammar kings and queens out there who like to be, that's not actual irony. So I put that caveat in there. But the news this week is Tesla stocks are plummeting. They are dropping. And people are tweeting him, asking him to list 5 things he did last week at work, which who knows? He probably hasn't even been to a Tesla factory, plant, office, whatever in months. But that's got to be irony. Elon Musk asking a bunch of government workers to list 5 things that they did last week for the sake of efficiency to try and keep their jobs, while his job as Tesla CEO is absolutely tanking. Again, just another point for we don't need CEOs. They're useless. They do nothing. Elon Musk being living proof of that. But I think he should. I think he should be forced to be held accountable. And maybe shareholders want that. I don't know. I'm not a Tesla shareholder. God, I'd never. Um, this also is just a very obvious peek through the curtain of Oz that stocks are not valued on actual products or anything important. They're all influenced by, I don't know, rich people and their behavior, what they think. It's all feelings, not facts. Stocks are most of the time. I know there's stock bros out there that are going to tell me Nvidia or tech stocks or whatever. But if you look into Tesla, Cybertruck, and SpaceX, they're highly overvalued just on what smarter people have disseminated. What's up, Tanuki? Love that name. That's a cool word, Tanuki. It's a Japanese raccoon, I believe. Or is it different than a raccoon? It looks like a dog. I've seen one. Tanukis are amazing. Good to see you. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're into tech, I put a couple articles down below that I don't know if we're going to address, but the Big Hero 6 movie with Baymax, there's a UC Santa Barbara or something is developing this nano robot technology where it can be like a liquid, or not a liquid, but it can just be a thing, and then it can form into something else, which is terrifying because, you know, most of society is just deemed billionaires, even when they lie to your face, as trustable. So who knows what billionaires are going to be up to with this tech, but hopefully it gets in the hands of the right people that are smart enough to do something advanced enough that can help humans, everyday humans, not just the poor welfare queen CEOs. What's up, Phyllis? Good to see you. How much for a shirt reveal? I don't know what that means, Russian Republican. That's a cool name too, because most of the Republicans are Russian assets here in America. Isn't that so funny? People still watch Tim Pool like he has original thoughts after finding out he was just paid by Russia because his thoughts completely align with Russia. And you know what the other thing I was thinking about? I know this is a little off topic. We're going to get back to the list of 5 things Elon should be telling his shareholders at Tesla for tanking the company because of his behavior. Please donate to billionaires. The other thing I was thinking about is like, you always hear these hard right people be like, oh, what are you, a communist? What are Mother Russia? What are you, Russian asset? But it's like, don't you guys align with Russia? Isn't Trump's code name Krasnov? Aren't you guys like de facto supporting the party that completely aligns with Russia? Didn't they just vote in line with North Korea and Russia? It's so weird to me, like how you have to do mental yoga to figure out, I'm going to call some people communist and Russians and Russian assets, but at the same time, I'm going to support the party that is clearly Russian assets, Russian allies, and their mouthpieces like Tim Pool, who have been given wads and gobs and lots of cash because their beliefs, I won't get into the specifics, but it just so happens that Tim Pool's beliefs exactly align with Russian state propaganda, so much so that they had a decoy company that Tim Pool looked nothing into, which if you're at that big a level, you need to do a little more research than Gregorian, a one sheet on some fake billionaire Gregorian. But wouldn't it be highly concerning to you, like if I found out that Russians were paying me millions of dollars because my beliefs aligned exactly with them, I would start to I would question things. I would re-examine my life. Tanuki, I was called a communist when I was studying in the U.S. I'm from Switzerland. Well, that's what I mean. They don't even know what communism is. What they do, Tanuki, here in America, and a Republican, like, I don't know if he was a PR guy or something, but years ago, he said, what we're going to do is take words and turn them toxic. So they have really no meaning anymore. It's almost like a cultural slur, if you will. Not really, but if you get what I'm saying. Like they just take words and turn them toxic. So they turned communist, not to mean a classless, moneyless state, which if you believe in heaven sounds very similar, but they just meant anything they don't like. It doesn't have a pure definition. They just want socialist, communist, Russian asset to mean, I don't like you, you're bad for America. Even when the people they support, like Trump, is clearly a Russian ally, has clearly some connected ties. His wife, it was a Russian prostitute or something like that. Smellania. What do you think about Palestine? We can't get into it. I think genocide is bad. The only thing I want Elon Musk to say is "I quit." It's the only 2 words. I just wanna hear him say, I'm getting my own Neuralink implant." This is what I want Elon Musk to do. Get a Neuralink implant and go to Mars. That's all I'm asking. He wants it so bad, and I want him to fulfill his own dreams. I highly encourage Elon Musk to get a Neuralink implant and go to Mars. He always wears a shirt that says Occupy Mars, and my God, I want him to live out that dream. Can you imagine the little kid having the emeralds in his pockets, going to school and being bullied and not being able to talk to any girls because he was just disgusting on the inside? Not even on the outside. We know he's had all the gender affirming surgeries and the hair plugs and all that, but I'm talking about the insides of him. The insides. You ever seen Shallow Hal? It's like that. The insides of him just look like a repulsive, just evil villain. And imagine him as a little kid just wanting to go to Mars. That's all I want for him. I want him to get his Neuralink implant that he's so set on that he's killing thousands and thousands and billions of monkeys. He's going to eradicate all the monkeys on this planet just to develop this Neuralink chip implant in your brain. Which, why? All the people that cheered on, like, what does that do? What? You want Google in your head? You want ads? You want pop-ups in your brain? You want to be able to finish your meal, but you got to wait through a pop-up? You got to wait for an ad. You can't even hit skip ad. Like, what do you want from this Neuralink implant, people that support it? I'm curious. I'm curious. Because if you think they're going to do something to benefit you, you're fucking nuts. The guy that lied about playing video games, you're going to trust with putting something in your brain. So anyways, he's so dead set on this. Elon Musk really wants brain chip implants and Occupy Mars. That's all the t-shirts he wears. So I just want that for him. That is good of me. If somebody really wants something, I want it for him too. And I want him to go to Mars with the Neuralink implant chip. Tanuki, I was considering to stay in the US after 6 months, but I figured out I prefer Switzerland. Yeah. Europe is way more relaxed, less money, but more comfortable to live. Well, not only that, but Tanuki, God forbid anything ever happened to you where you needed to seek healthcare and you'd be fucking in debt. So you're better off. Like, guys, the US is becoming a third world country. We have like third world healthcare systems where if you take an ambulance ride, debt collectors call you until you have to file for foreclosure on your house. It's just a nightmare here. TYP. PYT. Did you just put Michael Jackson's song name backwards? Pretty Young Thing, TYP. Firkin Zalifi. What do you think? Oh, I already read that one. All right, so welcome. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're talking the news. And Elon Musk, if you haven't been following along with the saga we have here, he's asked 2 million government employees to email him back saying 5 things he did last week because, that's brilliant boss stuff. Like, how easy. Not how easy is it to write those, but how easy is it to just skim through 5 million emails of multiple different government departments to understand what each one does and what they should be working on compared to what they're writing? Simple shit. This is why he's the CEO, folks. This is why he has $400 billion. This is why if he spent $1 million a day for the next 1,000 years, he still wouldn't go broke. This is the level of intelligence that you've invested in if you support him. Natando Mathwahui. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry, but welcome. Hit subscribe, hit the notification. Pretty Young Thing. Listen to Michael Jackson. Watch that man dance. I want to take a Michael Jackson dance class. All right? Anyways, hit subscribe. Notification bell after. Join the Discord. Links of everything I plan to talk about down below. So if you're interested in Baymax technology, and if you're saying, what? Big Hero 6 technology, the nanobots? Yes, they're developing it in Southern California. Link down below. But Elon Musk, let's see. Just the 5 things I know he did last week. He ignored Grimes, the mother of his child, when she was having a medical crisis. I believe those were her tweets. She was having a medical crisis for her child was having a medical crisis, and Elon was trying to reach out, or she was trying to get in touch with Elon. And because if you know anything about the Grimes Elon saga, basically he's kept the kids from him so much that Claire Bouchard, Grimes' real name, her mother, who's some posh journalist in Canada, had to even reach out on Twitter. And they've all said, like, hey, we don't want to do this, but you're shutting off phones. You're not responding. You've given us no other way but to go public and say, hey, we need to get in touch with you. Can you? And Elon apparently kept the kids from Grimes's grandmother when she was dying. And that was the first publicity we witnessed, sadly, on Twitter. Like, that shouldn't have to happen. Especially if you're the richest man in the world, like, you shouldn't be a deadbeat dad. But now, last week, we know that Elon ignored Grimes when Elon's own child, was having a medical crisis. And if you've ever had a kid who's having a medical crisis, you understand the I don't even know, like, it's worse than emergency. It's like you're in crisis. You're in crisis because your child's in crisis. And to think she had to go to Twitter to tweet at him. And then I think he like blocked her or banned her, But imagine that. If you have children, I just want you to think your kid's going in crisis and you're like, fuck, the richest man in the world, their dad won't pick up the phone, has blocked my number. I have to go on Twitter to try to get an okay. To be honest with you, I couldn't believe that she was trying to get some okay. I'm like, if my kid's in a medical crisis, I'm sorry. I'm making the decision to save whatever, you know what I mean, to do the best for them. I'm not getting okays from anyone. But I'm guessing she had to do that because of wild stipulations and probably lawsuits or, custody battles. I'm guessing at that. I don't know. But I would imagine she's doing that because she's trying to keep her kids. Kick rocks. Zane. Who's Zane? Hi, I hate you so much. Thank you. Depending on what your character is, I probably would take that as a compliment, Zane. Be full aware of who hates you. Because if a racist, if an Elon bootlicker, if someone who's, claiming they love Jesus, but then making sure they're voting for people who make kids go hungry in America, if those people hate you, that's a badge of honor. I take that. That's a badge of honor. Thank you, Zane. Thank you. I appreciate that. I understand. Here's where you might be mistaken, Zane. Hit subscribe and the notification bell. Everyone in the chat except for Zane. Zane kick rocks. Go to Tim Pool or Ben Shapiro's podcast. I don't know. Get out of here. Don't spread love. Don't spread hate. But if you're gonna spread hate, just remember, this ain't the place where you think I want everyone to love me. I'm well aware that there are people that hate me every single day, and they hate me because I speak about this stuff. And like I was telling my son earlier, he couldn't understand why Elon Musk lied, said, I have bulletproof glass, which I explained is a bad thing in automobiles anyways, and then had his buddy come out and throw a rock at the window and shattered it, lying to people's faces, and they still clapped and they still believed him. And I said, that's a kind of stupid that is very sad. It's a sad kind of stupidity that people have, because some of it shows that they so don't want to look like a fool themselves that they'll believe anything Elon says, even if he lies right to their face. And it's more of their ego and their character that they can't just admit, like, he lied to me and I don't like that. And I got tricked. And it shows nothing. It doesn't reflect on them. We're all growing as humans. So there are people that I used to enjoy, and then I found out what their character was like. And I said, I can't Look at Snoop Dogg. He's a punk now. I used to love when he would narrate Planet Wizard or Planet Wizard on Jimmy Kimmel. And now, finding out who he is, he's a scumbag. And that's okay. We as people grow. So your taste, just like you probably don't eat dinosaur chicken nuggets every single day as an adult, but as a kid, you loved it, And that's okay. That's what we're supposed to do as humans. We're supposed to grow. But there's a big section of society that feels too terrified to admit, I got tricked, I got fooled. That's why you see all these crypto rug pulls, because people don't want to admit, like, oh, and the people that do come out, sometimes they get shamed, sometimes they get blamed, sometimes they get, and that's why they're scared to admit it. But it's okay to admit it. That's part of growing. And if you don't come to the admission that I got tricked, I got played, you're never going to grow. And some people protect their ego so much that they'll go very deep down these rabbit holes and let people lie to them. So that's why I don't care when people hate me. Never understood why she was with listen, I don't know much about Grimes. I know she's an upper middle class girl, but what she tweeted the other day about a mass extinction and how poor people are going to die off and AI art is good, that bitch can kick rocks, and she's probably reaping all that she has sowed. So, and I know her music isn't something I'd ever listen to. Tanuki also never understood why Americans are so religious. I had an argument in South Carolina with the guy, death penalty. He was a Christian. I asked him. killing not against Jesus. He's so into the Jesus and the death penalty. He's like, I even support the Roman guards that killed Jesus to make him my savior. Was that his argument? Without the death penalty, how would we know Jesus is God? They have to do mental yoga to fucking back up. It's really just they hate people, or they were raised fucked, or they were abused, or it's really their own self-serving narcissism. Tanuki, and that's what what about American religion bothers me so much, because you don't hear Jesus charging the poor, the sick, the disabled copays to heal them. Okay, you don't. And you hear Jesus talking a lot about loving your neighbor, and what he meant by your neighbor is everybody in society. He's the one that said turn the other cheek, and you don't see these people doing it. So it's just they're hypocrites. Woe to the hypocrites. Read that. Read what Jesus said about the hypocrites, the Pharisees. Because I love Jesus, and these people are putting him, let's just say when the afterlife comes and Jesus shows up, he's going to go, I didn't know you. I don't know you. I don't know you, Joel Osteen. So anyways, Elon Musk. Well, let's get to his list of 5 things we know he did. Well, he emailed people at a different company to fire them. He laid off a bunch of people. He ignored his kid's medical crisis. He got exposed for having another kid with Ashley St. Clair, another reply guy that wanted to have an Elon Musk baby, even though she didn't learn. Smart people or wisdom is learning from other people's mistakes. Ashley St. Clair, Elon's other baby mama, doesn't have wisdom, because she could have just clearly seen Grimes reaching out to him on Twitter and been like, oh shit, do I want that for my kid? No, I don't. But she ignored all that, and guess what? She was on Twitter saying, hey, I can't get in touch with you. So we got all these baby mamas. And think about this. I want you to think about this. If this was a black man or a black woman or just any minority in society being exposed for this on Twitter, having 13 kids over 5 different people, what society would collectively look at them? But somehow it's all ignored for Elon Musk, and that's why we got to keep calling it out. But so Elon Musk ignored 2 of his baby mamas on Twitter. He obviously was not at Tesla. We'd like to see, what he was doing at Tesla. He wielded a chainsaw on stage while talking about government cuts and also saying comedy's legal again. Watch my short. I have the clip of him saying the Democrats wanted to make comedy illegal, which is hilarious. It's hilarious coming from a guy who censors Twitter more than it was censored before. I think 3 times as much. What else did he do? Probably ketamine, the rate that he's talking and the way he's acting. If you've ever seen anybody on ketamine, you know. And then what else did he do? Tweeted a lot. If you just go to Twitter, this guy's tweeting all the time, all day long. And for people who go, he's a hard worker, he deserves, whatever it is, a $50 billion contract to be the CEO of Tesla. I always say to them, you have an alert for when Elon tweets, and every time Elon tweets at work, I want you to get on your phone and tweet as well. And I want you to see if your boss thinks you're productive. Because if you can get away with tweeting as much as he does at work, then yes, maybe you're productive. But I don't know anybody that, and all the works I've been to, I worked in radio where social media was part of the job. If you were tweeting like he does while you're doing your show, your boss would have pulled you to the office and been like, we need to have a discussion. We're going to take your computer away from you. Skibbity JM Studios, what's up? What are 5 things you don't love about Elon? I could list 100. We're just talking about 5 things that he did in the public's eye last week, which, if you like Elon, you need to hold your man accountable, because Tesla stock is plummeting. That means he's losing money for the companies he's supposed to be head of. And as far as I know, CEOs, their whole facade is they're there because they make the companies money. We know they don't, and it's all irrelevant, and the stock market's, a joke. It's based on feelings of the market, how the market feels. What are people doing? It has nothing to do with the product putting on the ground. It's all about, well, is he acting like a Nazi again? Okay, stock's going down. People are selling. It's all a bunch of feelings. So we're just talking about the things that he did. No, whether I like them or not is irrelevant. These are just facts that he did last week. And I think it's irony that he's asking a bunch of people what they did at work and how he doesn't want remote work anymore. That's a big thing. No more remote work. Have you ever seen Elon Musk in the Tesla office? I've seen him everywhere, but I never seen him, do an interview from his Tesla office saying, "Hey, listen, I'm against remote work, so I got to walk the walk." So I got to do these interviews from the Tesla office because I'm a CEO, remember? It's a sham, folks. I hate to break it to you. Oh, but again, people are trusting the guy that lied about playing video games. The gamer crowd is legit, man. They'll vet you, They got terms, noob, sweat. They got their whole own language, man. And if you think you're going to pull one over on the gamer crowd, they will they will dice you up in a YouTube video. They will expose you. And it's just the dumbest thing you could lie about, but this shows his level of narcissistic ego, that he thinks he can get away with anything, and that even when he's caught exposed for lying, that people still love him. And I guess it's kind of true, but at the same time, you got to point this out. I was always shocked that these gamers were like, he lied about gaming. Now I think differently. I'm like, you didn't think differently when he was saying he wants to kick everybody's grandma off of Medicare. You didn't think differently when he was firing people at his work or having a culture of racism at his offices. You didn't think differently then. Well, I guess the gamer community. I don't know. I love the gamer community. Not saying anything, but hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I think it's hilarious that while he's acting like he's working so hard, he's not even at his real job. He's not even at Tesla or SpaceX while he's gutting the government. And the other thing that he helped gut, this, what is it, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I put an article down below because that is a great bureau to protect people. Basically, without that bureau, corporations, well, they run rampant anyways. Again, for corporations, the reason they get incorporated is so there's no liability, so we can't go after CEOs like I believe they did in Iceland. In Iceland, when the banks crashed the market, they put them in jail. Here, nobody got punished. In fact, they got money to make sure they didn't fail. But the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, is an amazing thing because if a company rips you off, right, like I think Capital One was doing illegal interest rates, or they were doing, it's all in the article below. Sorry, I don't have it in front of me. You can read it. But they're ripping off people for the tune of billions. These are major grifts. And that government bureau was our protection. That was our recourse. We could reach out to them. They did big investigations. They helped a lot of people. They helped renters. I mean, I know personally people that have been dealing with that. And that is to protect, guess what, folks? We're the consumers. That first word, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, they're there to protect us from finance fraud, from these companies just having their way with us and having no recourse as consumers. And they are meant to protect us. And what are some of the first things they did? They gutted it. And now we're seeing that the Trump admin is they're dismissing with prejudice, which means it can never be claimed again. The court case is final. It is done. Game over. No more lives. No one up. They have dismissed with prejudice a bunch of different cases that was looking to refund people billions of dollars, people that had bad mortgage scams on them, interest rate scams. I forget what the other ones are, a school loan thing. I mean, these are important things. Hey, what's up, Chris Gutierrez? BBB. Hiya, goo. Good stuff in the chat, folks. I love YouTube. I love the day and age we're living in. It scares me, but I love it. So if you're new here, I'm Rob. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I go live every weekday. Sometimes I even stream Fortnite. I haven't done it lately, but if Solus, if you watch this, let's play Fortnite. Why do ordinary people not protest in the U.S. like back in the 70s? That is a good question, and there's a long answer for it. A lot of it is, the state propaganda. That when you think of state propaganda in America, you got to remember that it's funded by corporations. Corporations own the state. They're all buddy-buddy. You know, there are the odds and ends like Lena Khan, who is heading the CFPB, that actually fight for the people. There are the Bernie Sanderses, but a lot of like every Republican is on the take. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, most of the Democrats are on the take. So it's all this thing to fight against the own working class. Where in the 60s and 70s, there was a real enlightenment in America and a class of solidarity. And we had movements and leaders like Fred Hampton, Abbie Hoffman, all these people that I love to read their books and study. But you're seeing it today. There's supposed to be a protest or a boycott of purchasing anything here in America. But again, if folks, if you're unaware, to have a strike, a protest, a boycott, these things need to be meticulously organized. They need to be, it just can't be sharing some photo, a meme, and saying, everybody do it. It's like, we really need, and that's what it is, Tanuki. Ultimately, it all boils down to America, the working class is not as organized as in the 60s and 70s. In the 60s and 70s, we still had a good, strong, union base of workers, and unions are vitally important. But over the decades, they've been gutted. The right to work, which is anti-union, anti-worker, it favors corporation. If you ever hear that language is tricky. Listen to George Carlin, the comedian, the philosopher, the soothsayer. Um, but essentially, we still had unions organizing, and when you have large groups of workers, that's how like Trump has tricked the religious right, or not tricked, but they're using each other for their own ends. And Trump has a huge voter base in the religious right, which are totally anti-Jesus, but they just have an ends that and Trump is the means to get to that ends. So they vote for him, and he enacts what they want. So they just use each other. And we used to have working class people doing that with solidarity, with unions and these networks. We had community built out. That's why my industry of radio, I worked in morning radio for 20 years, and I loved it because my teachers would talk about those movements in the 60s and 70s and how radio was like this way to communicate. And now, I mean, if you just look at how much Elon and Trump spent to send disinformation, misinformation, and lies on TikTok and Twitter and Facebook, and they flood the zone with all this BS, so people don't really know. And it's hard for older folks, and even for some younger folks, to disseminate the information they're seeing online, and everyone's online. But radio was a really important medium where you could get community together, and they've gutted that. Private equity, Bain Capital, Mitt Romney's private equity company, came in and did that to iHeartMedia, which when I worked for them, it was Clear Channel. And they do that because they want Ryan Seacrest on the air everywhere. That's all they want. They want syndicated shows where they tell you about gossip and they don't wake you up to what's really going on. And morning shows used to do that. They used to be involved in the communities. That's what bugs me about syndication. I'm like, why are you having a show from Boston broadcast in Detroit? Why are you having a show from Boston broadcast in Portland, Maine? Those local communities need that local show. So Tanuki, that's what I mean. It's a big explanation, but it boils down to solidarity and organizing. We need solidarity among the working class and organizing. But there's too many people who let Elon Musk lie to them repeatedly, and they still support him. They support his money getting our tax dollars, or I mean, his company's getting our tax dollars. They support his lies, even when they're disproven right in front of your eyes. And it's sad to see. Now, I don't know if people are too tethered to admit that they got duped or fooled. They don't want to believe they're that kind of person. Or if they really just hate their community and their neighbors so much that they're willing to support somebody who's going to gut it until it affects them. It always comes down to like, once it affects me, then I pull the plug on it. And it's just a sad way to live. We need community. That's what I love about Europe too. Man, I want to go back to the UK. So bad. So bad. Okay, guys. So that's all. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. List 5 things that you did in the comments. List 5 things that you saw Elon Musk do while he was firing people. And remember, when you talk about these firings, I know people cheer it on. I've said this a few times, but I just want people to have some humanity. These are families. These are real people. And some of them even voted for Trump and Elon. And I just feel bad because when I've gone through layoffs, I've gone through losing jobs, and it's horrifying because your whole life is upended. And I don't think it's valid to do it on a list 5 things email. And if it is valid, if you want to support that, then Elon Musk should have to do it too, because his company is tanking right now. Tesla is tanking in the stocks, and they're not doing well. So if you believe in his methods, they should also apply to him, and he should have to be accountable for it. But again, there's hypocrisy and irony running rampant, and people just only believe for them, not for me. It's a horrible way to live. Totally agree. Canadian here. Oh, Harmony from me 100. Canadian. Love you guys. Love you guys. Here in Switzerland, we have a singular political system like in the US. But we don't have a president. We have 7 from different parties, also direct democracy. Maybe the US should start. Yeah, we do not have direct democracy. And I like following the German elections, I like where there's multiple parties that can kind of vie for control and have to work together. I mean, Chris Novoselic, the bassist for Nirvana, he's out in Seattle and he's heading the Cascade Party, and he's also been in favor of ranked choice voting. So we need to get rid of this electoral college. We really need something like you're talking about. Um, I like the idea of having not one person in charge or not a committee of Congress, but parties, because we need a working class party. There's a Labor Party in Massachusetts, a Workers' Party in Massachusetts. We need a Socialist Party. We need these other structures to have a voice, because the people are not represented. There was a study out of Minnesota where Democrats were getting 1.5 million votes, Republicans were getting 1 million votes, and somehow the Republicans were outnumbering all of the Democrats in every Congress, House, whatever they have in Minnesota. And it's just horrifying when the people aren't being represented in the system that's supposed to represent them. The only country on earth with direct democracy. That's awesome. Tanuki, you got to maybe come on the podcast and talk to me about Switzerland at some point, because I'm very interested about that stuff. I love hearing from Canadians. My friend Doreen in France came on the podcast to talk about. That's the reason I love this technology, and I love YouTube, because I can have guest hosts on and we can talk about we need to understand each other's positions in the world. We're a global society, unfortunately. There's really no more local stuff, but with that comes the greatness of understanding like how you operate your systems, and what can we take pieces and bits that are great, that worked, or what have we learned from your failures. This is the Tanuki, the Discord. That's how I connect with people. There's a link down below. If it's not good, I will post the Discord. I will post a new Discord link in the comments of this video after. That's how I got in touch with Doreen, and it's great because it doesn't matter. It doesn't cost anything. We could just DM right on there. But the Discord is our community. We also have book clubs, meme, YouTube recommendations, other channels that are great. Rusty Shackelford. No, this is a tea tree oil toothpick from Australia. I love these. They're absolutely amazing, and they're good for you. So yeah, Tanuki, if you get a second, or just leave something in the comments, and I'll not the chat, but the comments, and I will post the link to our Discord there. Because that's how we've kind of done it. But it would be fascinating. I've never spoken to somebody from Switzerland. We've spoken to somebody from France. I got friends in Egypt, Canada, Brazil. I'm trying to think. All across the world, people on this live stream. This is the community we're building, and that's why please say hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's always good to learn stuff. Even if we don't get to implement it, it's always fascinating to learn stuff. And then I also like to ask questions like, in Switzerland, do they celebrate Halloween? Weird shit like that I randomly think of during the day, and I'm like, I wonder what they do for this and that, because in America we get so close-minded to just, this is the way the world does stuff, and it's so not true. So yeah, Tanuki, let's connect. Let's get you on the live stream, and we'll find out all about Switzerland. It's fascinating how their party works, and it's fascinating that you took bits and pieces from America too. And then you got to tell me about some of that chocolate, because goddamn, American chocolate is so disgusting. I will only eat chocolate from other countries. Unfortunately, Reese's is like the one good chocolate, but it's covered in peanut butter. So Tanuki sounds good, but of course I can't represent. No, never. I wish I could represent America. I can't, because when I say I want universal health care for people, they call me a communist. And I go, do you even understand what you're saying? But again, this live stream is meant to bring about discussion, and it's mostly based on life experiences, okay? What we've lived. And we bring that to the thing. So that's all it is. Okay, guys, hit subscribe and notification bell. Tanuki, let's connect. Peace, much love, respect. Have a great weekend. And if you can, don't buy stuff today. That's the boycott going around. If you're here in America, hit them where they hurt, right in the wallet. We just got to be more organized. God bless. Peace.